Everything is cyber now. Everything. It's only responsible for about maybe 5% of the proceeds of crime in the world. The vast majority of that is obviously drugs, and the other half would be counterfeit, pharmaceuticals, airplane parts, which is kind of scary. Air Canada will not fix their planes overseas. If the plane breaks on the deck, they send their own guys over with the parts to fix it, because they do sell fake airplane parts. I was at a place the other day where they had fake safety boots. You know, the steel in the toe of the safety boot is supposed to keep you from getting your toes crushed. And in Asia, they put like beer cans or something in there. So they would save 2 cents making the boots. And I was at the place where they test all this stuff, and they just squished it. Imagine if you had your toes in there. It'd be significant. Anyway, there isn't any new crime. You can't think up any new crimes. But what the cyber world has done is it's allowed the bad guys to get the crime to the consumer or the victim without having to interact with them. And the social impact has been profound. In the old days, gangsters, for example, you know, the gangbangers on the street, they cut the town up the way this table is delineated. This is our turf, this is your turf, and we would drive along the edge, you know, the gangsters drive along the edge and, you know, do whatever they would do to each other and call them out, and then eventually it would lead to gunplay, violence, and death. But now what they're doing is they don't even have to go and drive around. They just go online. They go on Facebook or one of the other online rooms, and then, you know, Wormy says that Shrimpy is a badass or whatever he says, and Shrimpy disses him back, and then it goes back, and everybody's watching this. You know, there's a big crowd of people, just like doing it on the street, but everybody's watching online. And then ultimately, when they decide they've had enough, then they do actually go seek him out and kill him. And so many of the retaliations in the street level gangster world are due to social media. It's remarkable. And that's a way that the police, and will be in the future, but certainly now, can track these people. We have a shooting here at a club. By the time the police get there, everyone's disappeared. Obviously, when there's shooting, you want to run away. People don't want to be witnesses. But with technology now, we can see who was there. We can look down and do a geofence around that area and say, okay, these people's phones were in that area at that time. These people went on Instagram and says, I was at the club and someone got shot. You identify witnesses that way. Without that, you have nothing. And now that you can't card people on the street, how do you get information? And as an instant to that, more and more people are carrying guns on the street because they know they're not going to get stopped. So when I was a policeman, I infiltrated the organized crime groups, and that was typically done using informers who would pretend that you were their friend, and we would pay them, and they would introduce me to these guys. And other times I met them through other techniques. But that job is much more difficult now for people who are undercover operators, because there's pictures and everything's online, and once your picture's online, that's the end of your career.